Today I want to give you a tour of the spine. And so we're going to start first of all by looking at the individual vertebrae. We've got different zones of the spine. We have the neck, the thoracic spine, which is the middle part of the upper back, and then the lumbar spine, which is the lower back. And so each of these zones is comprised of vertebra, that is, the bones of the spine. And in the neck you have 7 cervical vertebrae. In the upper back you've got 12 thoracic vertebrae, and then in the lower back you have 5 lumbar vertebrae. And so they're all similarly constructed. There is this protuberance on the back of the spine called the spinous process, and then on either side we have these projections which are called transverse processes. And so we come to the front of the spine, this would be the front of your body, and we can see the vertebral bodies, the bodies of the vertebra. Then in between the vertebra we have the discs of the spine, and you can see these at every level in between the vertebral bodies. So what you might notice as we go down the spine is that the vertebral bodies get bigger, as do the discs and the spinous processes. And that's really because the bulk of the load of our body mass is transported to this part of the spine as we stand, as we sit, as we go about our lives. And so it requires more strength in this area, more resilience, more ability to withstand the forces that go through the body as we move about our day. Now, you can see from this, there's the S-shaped arrangement of the spine. It's a bit like a spring, really, if you think about it, so that we can absorb forces, loads, impact, jumping up and down, things like this. So it's really very clever in the way in that it's constructed, but it really was designed for us to spend much more of our times moving about than sitting down. And so the alignment of the spine is really important when it comes to this dispersal of load. And so when things go wrong, often it's because we have been adopting postures that are less than ideal. What is a less than ideal posture? Well, if we think about the lumbar spine, you can see this inward curve in the lumbar spine. And so for the most part, when we sit for prolonged periods, what we find is that the spine will be curving in the opposite direction. And this generates forces on the discs in between the vertebrae. And so if we sit in those positions or those poor postures for long periods, then we'll load in structures in a way that is less than ideal. Similarly with the neck, the most important thing really when it comes to the neck is that the head is balanced directly on top of the neck. And that allows the forces to be transmitted through the neck in an ideal way. You might know about your head is it weighs 5 kilos, there or thereabouts. 5 kilos, 10 pounds. And so when it's balanced directly on top of your neck, that is the amount of force that your body has to deal with. Now, if the head is positioned forward of the spine, in actual fact, the forces that are then transmitted through the spine are multiplied, and they're multiplied exponentially. So just for an example, if your head is 15 degrees forward of the neck, then that is going to multiply the mass of the head so that instead of it weighing 5 kilos, now it weighs 12. And so those forces are not only transmitted through the neck, but they carry on down the spine and even into the hips, the knees and the feet. So although there's a lot of controversy around whether posture is important, posture is dynamic, posture is always changing, well, yes it is, but if we spend the majority of our day in poor postures, the chances are there are going to be adverse consequences to that. So my message to you today is that if we can consider the alignment of the spine in these ideal S-shaped curves with the head balanced directly on top of the neck as we move about our lives, as we sit at our desks, drive our cars, as we lift children, do shopping, whatever it is that we're doing, then we are less likely to develop problems. And the other important feature really is that if we do have problems, then this becomes even more important. So think about the spine as you go about your day to day, and have a great day. Bye for now.